Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Mr. Covalt, and in this video I'm going to go over a few examples involving density. So let's get into this. So our first problem is you have an object that has a density of 8.95 grams per milliliter and a volume of 6.2 centimeters. So you're given the density. So let's underline that. So you're given the density and you're given the volume. So you got volume. So you've got the density and the volume. So I like to pull out the things that you have in the problem and then see how you can then use that to solve the problem. So one of the things you need to remember is in the previous video, we went over density and what density is. The formula for density is going to be density is equal to the amount of mass you have, mass divided by volume. So remember, the definition of density is basically the amount of stuff you have in a given amount of space. So uh, stuff per amount of space, amount of stuff per amount of space, or mass divided by volume. So what you then need to do is you take what they give you, you plug it into the equation, and then you solve for the unknown using algebra. So here we're given the density. So density is 8.95 grams per milliliter. So that's density. And that's going to be equal to the mass over the volume. So we're not given the mass. So put mass. But we are given the volume. But notice the units here. It's very important to make sure that your units are the same and that they can cancel out. So here we have milliliters, but here we have centimeters cubed. But if you remember, 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cubed. So they are the same. So you can replace one with the other. So this is the same as having 6.2 milliliters. So this is the same as 6.2 milliliters. So we could put that down. And so we'll have 6.2 milliliters there. And now we can solve for mass. So we use our algebra. So we want to get mass by itself. So here I have 6.2 milliliters on the bottom. So I'm going to have to multiply both sides by 6.2 milliliters. I'm going to have to multiply this by 6.2 milliliters. So that's multiplied. So this is going to cancel out over here. So I have mass by itself. So the mass is going to be equal to the density multiplied by the volume. And notice I have a volume unit on the bottom here, and then here I have it on the top. So that's going to cancel out, leaving me with grams. So my unit is grams. So now all I need to do is use my calculator to calculate the answer. So let's do that. We can do that together and you can verify if I'm right or wrong. So I make mistakes too. So let's check this out. So I'm going to take my 6.2 multiplied by 8.95 equals, and I got 5549. So this is going to be, so the mass is equal to 5549. So that is a good example of a problem involving density. Okay, let's do the second one. So the second one, kind of like the first, they're asking me a question. So what is the volume? This time we're finding volume. So again, our density equation, density is equal to mass over volume. Okay, so we're given so it's asking what is the volume of an object if the density is, so they're giving us density. So again, we've got density 2.73 grams per 1 mil. And its mass is 12.5 grams. So we got 12.5 grams. So we got the mass, we got the density. So let's plug this in. So again, the density is given to us. So that's going to be 2.73 grams per milliliter. So grams on top, milliliter on the bottom. And that's going to be equal to, we have mass over volume. They're giving us mass, 12.5 grams. So we'll put 12.5 grams on top, and then we'll have volume on the bottom. So we need to find the volume. So again, we just need to use algebra to solve this equation. We're going to need volume by itself. Don't make the mistake of dividing both sides by 12.5, getting volume by itself, because you'll have 1 over volume. You need volume on top. So first thing, whenever you have something on the bottom that you need to solve for, you need to get that on top. So the first thing you want to do is multiply by volume on both sides. So I'll put a V over here for volume. So volume cancels out. And so now I have volume multiplied by 2.73. So then I have V times 2.73 grams per milliliter. And then that's going to be equal to the 12.5 grams, 12.5 grams. So now I have volume on top. Now I can divide both sides by 2.73 grams per milliliter. 12.73, or no, that's 2.73 grams per milliliter. So that cancels out. Now I have volume by itself. So the volume ends up being the mass divided by the density. So grams cancels out, and I'm left with milliliters. So again, if we calculate that out, I take the mass, 12.5, and I divide that by 2.73 equals, and I get 4.58. So 4.58 milliliters. So I'm rounding, it was like 4.578. I'm rounding the last digit to 8. So that would be the volume of your object. Okay, let's do one more. So here they're asking for the density this time. So what is the density of a block if its mass is 62.3 grams plus we have the density, the dimensions of the block. So they're giving us the dimensions, 13 centimeters long, 4 centimeters tall, and 7.5 centimeters wide. So here it's a little bit more tricky because they're not giving us the volume straight out. We have to calculate the volume. But they gave us the densities, they gave us the dimensions. So all we need to do is multiply the dimensions and we'll get the volume. So remember, when you have, we're assuming this is a cube, since they're giving us the dimensions, it's some sort of rectangular box, right? So something like this. So they're giving us the dimensions, X, Y, Z. So if we multiply the centimeters by centimeters by centimeters, we'll get the volume in centimeters cubed, which we said is a volume unit, right? So let's go ahead and calculate that out. So if we multiply, we're going to take 13 centimeters, multiply that by 4 centimeters, multiply that by 7.5 centimeters, and we get 390 centimeters. So that means, so we're going to take, let me write this down. So 12 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 7.5 centimeters gives us, I said 390, yep. So 390 centimeters cubed. So that's our volume. So we've got the volume. V for volume. They gave us the mass. Where's the mass? Right here, 62.3 grams. So again, our density is mass over volume. So density is equal to mass over volume. And so now all we need to do is plug these two values into our equation. So we'll put the mass on top, 62.3. So 62.3 grams on the top. And then we'll put 390 grams, 390 centimeters cubed. So 390 centimeters cubed. And so now we can take our calculator and we'll take 62.3, divide that by 390 equals, and we get 0.16. So we'll give you three digits, 1.60. So 0.160 grams per centimeter cubed. So I rounded, it was like 1.578 or something. So I rounded that to 1.160. So that is the density of this object or this block. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned from this video, please like the video, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you get notified by any other videos I put out, and put a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, ask. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.